guys and gals, and we're here from Drake Queen Gaming. Assuming to me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Sparks, A Tale of Ink. So yeah, before I jump right back into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming not safe for work videos. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Surely you know love, though. Gil was always surrounded by people of all walks of life. How come they never felt anything for any of them? So, did it help you? With a thick book like this, surely one of the stories must have struck a chord, yes? I am unsure if they actually helped me in understanding. Most stories have something in common. They are said to be translations or interpretations of stories from the old world. Old world stories? Why would you read those? Do not be a fool. I do not denounce all things of the old world as bad or antiquated. Modern love stories simply all feel as if they are trying to emulate the story between the sovereign and his tactician. I have read plenty about them. These stories all share a common thread as well, but it is more about leaving behind the old and embracing something new. The protagonists would be leaving behind everything they know and finding the one they love. They are torn forcefully from their home and brought somewhere else. Other worlds inspired by locales foreign to the authors. Do they share common endings as well? In most cases, the protagonist stays in the new world with their lover. In others, one or both of them die. Yet others have the two lovers once again separated by returning the protagonist to their home. Ah, bittersweet endings always hurt my soul. After all the tragic retellings I read, I enjoy one where the two lovers end up happy ever after. But did any of the stories answer your question? They did not help me. I understand the drive to explore something new, to grasp the hand of discovery and walk alongside it. But doing it for some stranger or good friend? It is quite the decision to take. Yet to take the role of a royal's pet, of a freedom fighter, or that of a monarch to please those you love, I find that to be a huge step away from the ordinary life these people were leading. Because it is more of a metaphor. Few people would go to such extremes nowadays. Ah, but the sovereign did take up the role of God to fulfill his own dream and that of his partner. For a peaceful, perfect world. Ha, yes, perfect. Oh, come now, do we have to truly argue over this once again? At the library, of all places. Why can you simply not accept that the current state of Cirque is what is best for it and the people on it? Because it feels like we are wasting away here. We simply cannot advance society to the same degree that the old world was it with just our little sparks that let us shape things and put one thing from one location to the other. Perhaps that is for the better, then. Without rapid progress, we can count on resources being evenly distributed, lest conflicts do not arise as he decreed. Ashes to his decrees! War can be avoided in other ways than disallowing research into the old world technologies. At least we are allowed to keep the Sodite systems. I do not enjoy them. I know. Why are you so obsessed with proving all we know wrong anyways? What would change? Where would it get us? Where would it get you? I'm so obsessed with it. Well, because that is not where it ends, right? If the Ascension itself is already fabricated, then who is the man truly that sits on the capitals and thus the world's throne? It's like, water time. Ooh, could this be a situation of a false god? If the way he ascended why and how is already a lie, then how many of the rules he imposed of us are truly what we are told they are? He says there is no more strife, and yet people still fight, unseen and in silence. That is why I need to know the truth. If there is more to uncover, that is where to start. I am sorry to interrupt your argument, but as previously requested, I would have time to try and help you now. The librarian, who had previously been busy behind a wooden counter, spoke up with a pleasantly calm voice. Oh, okay. Zhangken had often seen the wooden counter the man was now beckoning from, but never the man himself. A few candles on metal holders were put along the counter to provide the large red wolf with light while he did his work. Well then, Professor Gale, how can I help? The wolf loomed over the both of them. His broad shoulders and high stature made Zhangken question if he had always aspired to be a librarian or if he might be a retired warrior. His mane was long and dyed black, parting only at the forehead to reveal a white scar. A tired kindness was drawn over his face as he watched the two approach. Taking up the night shift must do that to someone. The man had come from the mountains and ever since worked in the library, not only caring for the books but also telling stories to those who were willing to listen. Thank you for making the time. We are looking for a certain book with a ripped-out corner, likely on the lower right. A most curious request, but one I should be able to assist with. Thanks a lot. If we could just solve this or get a few steps closer to understanding the broader picture, we... Wait just a moment. Aren't you Zhangken? The fire boy from the Shorelands? Yes, that's me. Well, I wouldn't call myself fire boy by any means, but I think you have quite a few books that need to be returned, especially because some of them have been requested frequently. Did you bring them? Zhangken had never really interacted with the Red Wolf before, but was not surprised for his infamy. He knew that his reputation preceded him. It was the same at home in Soleil as well. With a swift motion, he put down the books he managed to bring along. All of them would have been far too many for his untrained arms to carry. Each cover was slightly stained, either by wax or soot, and with the tarnished work, the wolf's disdain grimace deepened. He has not yet remarked on your smell, so you must have at least changed your clothes. I commend you for this. Gale's hushed tone had a hint of playful red rudeness hidden underneath. Zhangken refused to respond. I shall tend to the books later. The flat tone did not escape Zhangken's ears, but he also admitted that he could have treated them a little bit better, at least by not having them rest near his candles of the fireplace. Well then, let's see if I can find that book of yours. So, coffee time. The librarian lifted his foot and stomped on the floor. The sound of leather boots hitting the wood was accompanied by a slightly metallic jingle. Zhangken assumed that it belonged to a chain that had an attached vessel of ink on the wolf's ankle. As he felt the energy of the cast spark flow through him to soak into the library, Zhangken instinctively looked at his ring to measure the ink he had left inside. The few uses had not drained much of the mystical substance, but it was clearly not filled to the brim anymore. Gale was not concerned with their own vessel at all. They made sure it was filled to the brim every single day. They would never appear in public with less than their full potential. Just a few moments of silence later, books started to fly onto the counter. With just a few gestures, the wolf commanded the books to open up, all showing a page that had a single ripped-out corner on the bottom right. That's very specific of a spark to train in. Manipulating dead wood as a subset of earth is already hard. Books are a step further, as the wood is mixed with other elements. Years of training and my love for books allow me this very rare ability, though. Zhangken has yet to be impressed by how fascinating sparks were. In their essence, they seemed restrictive, but the more one played in the area of the six elements, the more specific forms of reshaping like this could be born. Yet even like this, specific training would be needed to spread abilities like these worldwide, making them more a detriment than a blessing. What movie did you train in manipulating books? A story for another time, perhaps, when we meet over tea and biscuits. For now, I would like you to keep on with your research, so I can return to my work. The student nodded and held the scrap of paper next to the books in comparison. This one has a different paper altogether. The page number is different for these two. And this one doesn't match up with the text at all. Thank you for the help, but none of these match up with what I was looking for. The librarian's features softened as he stacked the books up once again. We'll find what you're looking for somehow. But first we'll have to sort the books back, together with the ones you have brought in. Are you not going to use your spark for that? Oh no, calling them is easy, but sorting them back to where they belong is almost impossible due to the way I perceive things when using my spark. Also, if we relied solely on my spark for library work, I would be severely overworked, and that is not what I came to the Flatlands for. The wolf let out a hearty laugh. So that's why the Academy lets students work in the library. Exactly. Working in your free time is rewarding. Additionally, we pay you decently well, as you know from the few times you did decide to help out around here. Let us see who was on shift today. There it is. Aria, could you please help us out? From behind a bookshelf, a small Wolverine girl peeked and slowly made her way to the counter. Gale gave a courtesy nod, and the girl herself tried to muster a hasty bow. Zhangken forgot how much Gale was revered by the students. They were just another person to him. Please sort these books in. Perhaps start with the anthology collection. Romantic fiction, N to M, shelf section 12, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir. I will be done in a moment. Wait. One second, y'all. Coffee time. No, wait! The incomplete shape finally clicked into place with a single missing piece. Slowly the realization struck. The spark of an idea finally lit up, igniting the dark caves of Zhangken's thoughts. A resolved mechanism made him groan in an embarrassingly loud tone. There was never an enema object that belonged to him. He could have looked up the most outlandish ciphers and not found a solution to what was scribbled on the scrap. It was simply, "We go!" Leaving the library? Of course not! We're going to the history section. Letters N to M. A rare one-note laugh escaped Gale as the two left for the aforementioned section. The shelves might have looked like any other, all things considered, except for the iron plate on the outer side pairing the row with the other history shelves. Rows N to M were located here, and at this moment, so were Gale and Zhangken. The inquisitive pair found the fourth shelf easily enough, which left them to the task of having to identify where their target was located. Luckily, no one else was looking for anything in these shelves, so they could scour the books for anything useful. As much as I dislike wasting productive time with you here, I do feel proud that you managed to solve the issue by yourself. I hope you are feeling accomplished. I mostly feel stupid, to be frank. Also, stop treating me like an ashen child, Gale. We're the same age, you know that. I think the documents I looked over filed you as you're younger than me. Shut it and help me look for whatever we're looking for. Now, is that how you should speak to a friend or a professor? Help me, please? Now we are finally approaching territory I enjoy walking. I will see if I can find anything interesting in M, yes? You keep your eye on M. Fantastic, thank you! The exclamation oozed with sarcasm, and Zhangken was happy to end the conversation there, as just a moment longer of this treatment would have likely led to a few burned books, which he could probably not have afforded. The search did not go as smoothly as Zhangken had hoped. It turned out that 4 did not stand for the fourth shell, but for some additional piece of information. Gale likely knew, but Zhangken did not want to give them the triumph. He tried a few ideas already, checking the fourth shelf, looking at the fourth page on the fourth book from both the left and the right side of the bookshelf. He looked for book titles using the number 4, which led him to find some gems he should study soon, such as Manifold, Historic Relevance of the Four Elements, The Majesty of Splitting the World into 4 Regions, and his favorite, Mysterious Poetry, the number 4. Zhangken knew he would have a word with the librarian about the selection of books they brought in here at some point. Eventually his eyes got the Diaries of the Last King. Sorted into M for the assigned title, Memories of the Old World. Calum had recovered these from Old World ruins as they were likely fonts of knowledge of the Old World culture and history. But as usual, there was a core issue with them. They were indecipherable due to the language they were written in. They were labeled by volume, 1 to 8. One had been found in every set of ruins that Calum had explored so far. Oh, 1 second, y'all. It is coffee time. Last 2 minutes, let's make it count. Strange how there was only one of these in every set of ruins. A mystery for another day, Zhangken thought as he opened Volume 4 without any expectations. Yet against all odds, he did find something strange. As he flipped through the pages, a pair of black gemstones hit the wooden floor with a sudden noise. Gale swiftly turned to him, only to see the sound's source himself. Are those? Sodites, yes! They just fell from the book I opened. The diary? Why ever would they be in there? Other than this being the 4th volume, no other association with the number 4 is present. Perhaps because there are 2 sets of 4. After all, the twofold nature of things is important in ascendism, no? 2 moons, 2 spark subsets. 2 times 2 plus 2 elements. So with that in mind, you assume these 2 sodites you uncovered are connected to the little mystery we have been chasing. I don't assume so. I'm very sure about their connection to it. As Zhangken picked up the stones on the floor and prepared his ring to bring a droplet of ink onto one of them, Gale immediately interrupted him. What are you doing? I assume the spark stored in these is relevant to my research, so I want to activate them. You fool! It might as well be a trap to burn down the library. I could immediately contain the fire. Any fire, you know that. What if there was water saved inside, making all books unreadable and drowning all of us? That argument did make Zhangken shiver. Let us discuss this tomorrow. If you are so eager to see what is inside the stones, let us ask Calum to join as well. Dinner, perhaps. I shall ask him to bring a way to stop a sodite from expelling as well. Fine. I know you just don't want me to stay awake all night over whatever might be inside, but perhaps it is a good idea to stop here. I'm glad you understand. Zhangken did understand, but he was not glad about it. Before leaving the library himself, Zhangken stopped by the librarian again, who had settled in a chair reading a book in the dim candlelight. So you return. Did your search yield any fruit? Maybe. Well, we found a pair of sodites, but we'll have to investigate if they are connected and to what we were looking for. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. But before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your donations. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You are awesome. We love you. We hope you enjoy your new icon. And anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits and take a look at our Not Safe for Work videos, it's as little as $5. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!